So is the Idaho stop law gaining traction? I'm Jim Dodson, the Florida Bike Guy. I'm a cycling lawyer in Clearwater representing cyclists across Florida. So the answer to that question is yes, it is gaining traction. If you keep up with these things, there was some article recently that two new states have adopted the Idaho stop law, both Utah and North Dakota. So that brings a total of 19 states who have adopted a version of this statute. They're all going to be somewhat unique, I think, in terms of how each state addresses what they're going to allow in their state. But we have 19 states now having some version of the Idaho stop law. So we'll look at the Idaho stop law. We hear a lot of conversation about what it means, what it says, and I wonder how many of us have actually read it. It's for a statute of this kind, pretty simple, one page. In sort of a shorthand version, you can slow down. Well, let me just read what it says. When a cyclist approaches a stop sign, they shall slow down if required for safety, and stop before they enter this intersection if necessary. After slowing to a reasonable speed or stopping, they shall yield the right-of-way to any vehicle that's approaching it or already in the intersection. Except that you may slow to a reasonable speed, yield the right-of-way if required, and they may then cautiously make a turn or proceed through the intersection without stopping. So there's a lot of caveats to this in terms of cautiously proceeding. Remember that in giving the cyclist the right to make this decision, if the cyclist makes the wrong decision, they still could be held responsible for not yielding the right-of-way at an intersection. This thing is most useful, I think, for an intersection where there's no vehicles involved at all, and which is where personally I would be more inclined to use it if that were the Florida law. In Idaho, the statute says when there's a steady red traffic signal, you shall stop before entering the intersection and yield to all other traffic and may proceed through the steady red light with caution. So with the red light, you are required to stop, but you can proceed if you can do so safely. So basically yield at a stop sign, stop at a red light, but proceed with caution. So these caveats of proceeding with caution, what have you, and lawyer talk, or when you're talking to a judge, are all questions of degree, which creates some ambiguity about what's involved. And I think that's really been the argument that I've heard most of why it has not been popular, gaining any traction here in Florida. There is a proposed statute this year having to do with cyclists stopping at a stop sign in a group. If this will give you any indication of what Florida's thinking is, the new proposed law says that if a group of 10 cyclists or less are riding basically together, they have to stop at a stop sign, but all 10 of them can proceed through the stop sign after they stop, and cars have to yield for them. So Florida is still pretty much on the firm footing, cyclists need to stop at a stop sign. The Idaho stops law has not gained traction here. I don't know if it will. The argument has been, again, that this is an urban state. Idaho is not an urban state. A lot of these states are not urban, but some of them, quite frankly, have their urban areas. Minnesota, Ohio, Colorado. I mean, they all have some version of it. They all have a lot of population, but so it's gaining traction. 2 more states this year. I think it would be ideal if we had some version of the Idaho stop law in Florida, because there's a lot of interest about the Idaho stop law among cyclists. I mean, if you at a group of people together and talk about it, people are all in favor of it. I haven't heard anyone who's an active cyclist who'd say they don't want it enacted here. I'd be really curious what your view is, and if you just take a minute and write your comments here below. It would be very interesting to me what you think of the Idaho law, whether you think it should be adopted in Florida, and what are your thoughts? Why do you think it would be helpful? There's some actual data that I saw the other day from the state of Delaware that they claim that it has actually increased safety. Now, I don't have any other data other than what I saw in this particular article, but I'd be curious what we have in other states about that, and maybe we can make a separate program on it. So let us hear what your thinking is. I'm Jim Dodson, the Florida Bike Guy. I represent cyclists across Florida. We have a committed passion to helping cyclists. If you've been injured on the bike or even as a passenger or a driver in a vehicle, call us. I'll be here to help you. I look forward to seeing you on our next live stream, and be safe out there. Take care. Bye.